People, you are looking at 3 fans who support a club that have just gained 3 glorious points, and you love to see it. You love to see it indeed. Obviously, shout out to me boy Darren, shout out to me boy Nick. If you haven't subscribed to Nick, then what are you doing? Saint LFC TV, great channel, people. Make sure that you go and show the love. Unbelievable work, and obviously the boy Darren Whelan is here to talk through the game as well. He is here to talk through the game as well. Shout out to everyone who's here as well, of course, talk through the game. This is like a new concept that I'm going to be doing after games, where we just basically talk about what's just went on, and yeah, we sort of hope for the best. I feel like the best place to start, and I've just mentioned it in my instant match reaction for people who are coming over from there, but I've obviously thought to go out to Rui Patricio, of course, with what happened at the end there. I haven't watched anything in terms of like audio. I haven't saw any news or anything since watching it back with all the content that's been going out. That being said, it didn't look good from my point of view. I don't know what you saw, boys, but that looked serious, man.
Yeah, man. I think what was it, Cody? What was it, off his knee or something?
Knee, yeah.
Looked like he got a knee.
But it didn't
to the
show
face.
it though, did it? It didn't show.
They didn't show replays.
No.
They didn't show replays. Nah, they didn't show no replays. And to be honest with you, from the little I saw, I don't think you'd want to see that again, mate. But apparently, good news is Nuno came out and said that he knows where he is. Do you know what I mean? He's responsive, and so fingers crossed, man. Like,
boss,
you know what I mean?
That's great. That's great to know that he's responsive, because I mean, obviously, I don't want to start things because obviously, like I say, I don't know. But I was seeing in my chat, apparently, he was having like a seizure in between, and that's why it took so long, because he couldn't have just been knocked out. People were saying in my chat he was knocked out. He couldn't have just been knocked out. It was 10 minutes of, he was flat on the floor. So sincere best wishes go out there to Rui Patricio, of course, and I felt like we needed to start off on that note, because I said it in my video, it felt bittersweet when the game finished. You get what I'm saying? Like, in a way that, you know, obviously I made up that we won, but that final 10 minutes, I always feel uncomfortable in them situations, so maybe that's just why I felt like that. But the 3 points alone... The 3 points alone, I very much need a 3 points, the boys. You get what I mean? Jeez Louise on a drumstick. This is what we're talking about. We got to win in the Champions League. We got to win in the Champions League. And then now we're chatting 3 points in the Premier League. Listen,
and a clean sheet.
And a clean sheet. You can't go wrong with it, the boys. I mean, anyone can jump in. What do you think? I've said my thoughts, mate, on it. I'm just happy we could get there. It weren't the perfect performance, but we got there in the end. It's all that matters to me.
Yeah, it's great to have won a league game and kept a clean sheet. It's been a bad month for us last month in terms of the league, and it's great to have won 1-0 rather than losing 1-0. Do you know what I mean? But I thought the tempo, intensity, energy was there tonight. The personnel, which hasn't been there, I didn't think particularly in home games this season, was back again tonight. That attitude, like the basics that we were looking for. So I think the players owed Klopp it, and they owed the fans a good performance, and to come out with that desire and express themselves and have that commitment and attitude, and personnel did change, because you could see tonight off the ball we were very good. We were chasing everything down, and then obviously we'd more of a spring in our step tonight. That spark, that creativity was there, and we just kept fighting. Even the first half, 45th plus second minute, like it was the last kick of the game, Jota takes his goal well. It's 11 goals and assists now in 22 games from this season. He's becoming an
celebrated against them. He celebrated.
Yes.
He had to, though. It was one of those.
What did you think? What did you make of that? I'm fine with it.
Nah, I looked at it. It wasn't like it was, you know, like when you score a goal, it was one of those ones, and then he kind of, it was like,
it was like a relief for the team. Like, finally, fucking scored. And bear in mind, me and Callum go on.
No, I was going to say, at that moment, I don't think he thought it was Wolves. Do you know what I mean? It was just he scored a goal. And then he probably...
you know, come back into it. Like, he's got his momentum a little bit more and whatnot. No, I hear you. That's what I really liked about Jota today, because he was always just pressing. And even though it was against his former teammates, like, when that goal went in, it was just like, yes, we got a goal as a team.
Great.
Thank the Lord Jesus. Like, that's just all that matters. All that matters. And I'm very happy that Diogo Jota could get the goal. Even though I felt like Patricio could have done better with the save, it was at his near post. I would have expected Alisson to save that.
No, I get that. I agree, but it was with some power. Do you know what I mean? He hit it with some
power. I get what you mean. It weren't a bad finish.
He should be. Yeah, it weren't a bad finish. I don't like when you see it and you're like, oh, near post, he should have got that. But I give him a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, but you're right. If it was Alisson, I'd be like, mate, Like, what you doing? Do you know what I mean?
This is what I'm saying, but Patricio, he's a good rated goalkeeper. He's not known for making them mistakes. He usually gets onto them and throws his cap on it. No pun intended with the fact that I've got a cap.
He put Fenham behind it though, didn't he? He put that Fenham behind it that made it awful.
That's what I mean. It was low. It was low. My thoughts in the game. Listen, firstly, mad
the Irish
in it. Like the Irish, hop the Irish,
the Irish, yeah.
Proper order.
I'm gassed, bro. I'm gassed, bro. And we needed this. We've just needed a little bit of runs. Do you know what I mean? Especially considering that there's now a little gap. It would have been shite to have dropped points and then to sat there and thought, oh mate, what ifs? And now we're right amongst it. We're sixth. Do you know what I mean? We're amongst it. And let's do you know what I mean? Going back to some of the performances, I thought, like you said, Jota, I love that he didn't give his old club that much respect. He was doing bits on the touchline with Cody and that, like little afters, like, and I thought, he's come to
and
play.
You've got him.
And man, no, I really enjoyed that because we've needed that. Let's be honest. Bro, James, bruv. I'm just, bruv. Talk to me, James, bruv.
Don't even start.
Mane was incredible off the ball, but his decision making, brother, is
I thought you were going to lead to something good there, I'm not going to lie. I thought that was going to be something good at the end of that sentence. I was there thinking, I
will tell you what, though. I will tell you what. Thiago's off the ball movement today was banging, bruv. Banging. He was. Trust me. He was good on the ball. A couple misplayed passes, but his off the ball work, I was like, yo, you're putting this.
No, this is what I said about Thiago today, and I said this about Jota. To be fair, even though, and we'll get into player ratings, we'll do that very briefly and whatnot. But the way I thought about Thiago today. First 10 minutes, frustrated the living fuck out of me, mate. It was one of them things where I'm watching him and I'm thinking, how are you losing the ball? And to be fair, he weren't the only one. Fabinho lost the ball a few times. I think the attack was losing the ball quite a lot. Gini lost the ball in a moment, which really frustrated me. And we just weren't, it was just a repeat, and Wolves were playing really well. Of course, they were pressing us down and counter-attacking wise, they were very solid. They were causing us quite a few issues in that department. But with Thiago, he grew into the game, and people are slandering Thiago for some reason. I've already saw slander in my comments before I ended the watch-along. I thought he had a good game from after that first 10 minutes. The fact to have that yellow card for as long as he did, and he didn't actually get sent off. Fair play, because when you think about aggression, Thiago brings more aggression than anyone else in that side. Maybe you could debate like Robbo and whatnot, maybe Van Dijk when he's fit, but right now I see the most aggression from Thiago. Because that's just how good he looks. Do you get what I'm saying? So
it's good personnel that he has, because of the last few Premier League games, particularly at home, again, Everton, Fulham, we touch on, there was no aggression. Now, I know Thiago played a lot in those games, and I think Leipzig was a game changer for him. He was really good. I said it was like as if he came to the Champions League final playing Bayern against PSG and then walked into that game. It was just so alike. Do you know what I mean? He was at his prime, his element. He was brilliant.
And it's mad. Do you know what else as well, Darren? It's mad because with Thiago in this game, he seems to really be growing just more into the league, more with confidence, more around better players. Because now when you're playing with Fabinho, you're chatting a different story. You don't have to be the two-man number sixes that he kind of was with him and Gini. They had to cover the centre-backs a lot more because the worry with having to play midfielders at the back and whatnot. Thiago got to play that. Now he's allowed to play further forward in that number 8 role, which is actually his preferred position. Now we're seeing, not the best of Thiago, but we're seeing improvement, and that's all we can ask for. Sure.
Yeah, we have to be patient.
And that partnership,
gotta be patient.
That partnership with Fabinho is working out really, really nice. Like, I really liked the way they, like, do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's the Brazilian thing, but there's a connection there.
They know. I can go forward, and it's fine. That's why, in my opinion, feel free to disagree, boys, but I feel like in the last 2 games we have saw freedom in the midfield. This is why I wouldn't mind an Naby Keita now starting, or a Curtis Jones. I never had a problem with Curtis Jones starting anyway, but especially now because they've got cover and a world-class CDM in that. Whether you think he's the best or not is up to you. But Fabinho is one of the best centre defensive midfielders in world football.
He's the anchor man, isn't he? He's the general, and it's
he's the anchor man. And even today
he comes back in with 2 clean sheets. Kabak and Phillips were very compact, very composed again. That's the second game run. And it's no coincidence we're having that protection of Fabinho ahead of them. So he's been just unbelievable to have back there, and it's great to see he's back in his preferred position. And as I said, it's no coincidence keeping 2 clean sheets, getting 2 wins. And you could see how good he is and how pivotal he is in that role. And the confidence that he gives everybody, like Thiago, like Kabak, like Phillips, and the rest of the team, of course. Like you can even see a better performance from Gini and who we got in midfield with Gini, Fabinho in midfield tonight, and Thiago. You know, so he's been brilliant.
Defo, no, 100%. And you know what? Shout out to Alex L. Thank you for tuning into the stream, my mate. But he says Thiago prefers to be in a 6 and not an 8. I don't know that particularly. Nah, not by himself. No, that's the thing. Even at Bayern Munich, he had Kimmich and, whatnot. And, since coming to Liverpool, he's not a defensive player. He is really very much like what Lewis says here. He's more of a number 8 and he likes to make the attack and passes. He likes to be the man before the assist type of... He's that type of player. That
ball before the assist That's Thiago. That ball before
Thiago.
Do you know what I mean?
But you even saw in moments against, of course. I get what you're saying. Even the moments against Leipzig, you saw against Leipzig a similar story in the fact that yes, mate, thank goodness that Thiago's now showing glimpses.
When he operates in those spots, that 8-ish spot, you know what I mean, between the 10 and he's able to just do the no looks and the one top, bruv. He's dangerous, bruv. He's dangerous.
See, I do touch on what you were saying, James. That he does need to be patient because he came in with no pre-season. He was just thrown in at the deep end, and then he's also playing in a big period of us where we just haven't been consistent and we couldn't buy a win at home. So it has been frustrating, and he hasn't had the lads in midfield with him. He hasn't had Henderson for a long period of time. He's playing centre back. Fabinho playing centre back. So it's there's been a lot of wholesale changes in midfield, and he hasn't had any partnership with anybody. The lads, as I said, have played centre back, different midfielders. It's been tough for him, but you can see it's the Champions League looks like it's competition. Tonight he did kick on from today, but I still think it was a better performance at Leipzig from him. But
that's the 100%. Like that's the thing today. Thiago never looked world class, but he looked sound. No. Do you get what I'm saying?
Comfortable.
He never looked shit. It was the first 10 minutes that really done it for me. That I was just thinking, Thiago.
What are you doing? I know.
What are you doing? Like in moments, but it was what it was.
Hey, Hammers.
And that's all you can. Yo, bro. Yo,
fam. Joshua Boateng Marion. That
Hey, that's Navarro! I'm fine with Navarro, Naldini. Obviously, shout out to Kabak as well. Them two are becoming a partnership.
Kabak looking better, Kabak, you listen. Like I said, bro. Like I'm not gonna give out. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I said I don't think this guy's gonna cut it. I said that to you, Hammers, and I'm not really sure. So I'm gonna be the first to give out his flowers, bro. He looks like he's turning the corner. And he's looking all right, man. He's looking decent.
What have I been saying about Kabak? It's one of them things where, and Phillips and Kabak have a very similarity between them. They both love defending. It's a fucking... Nick, listen to me, bro. Like, what do you love more than anything in this world? Tell me.
Come on, Nick.
Anything in this world. What do you love? It can be anything.
My little girl has to be in it.
God bless you. And you know what? That would be my answer if I had a little child as well. That is their number one to everything, mate. But you know, Nat Phillips, give him 10 kids that he absolutely adores, and he would still prefer a fucking header and defender above that kid. Tell Kabak the same thing. Bro, these are made, like, these were brought up in labs. Nat Phillips, Kabak. Like, do you know when they were in... Do you know when Nat Phillips went to Germany? That was the corner. Because they got him into them crazy labs that they got over there, and they just made his neck insane. They just made his ankles ruthless and just said, you just go out and just head every single motherfucking ball that you got that comes to your fucking face.
There was one, I don't know if it was like maybe the 70th minute or something like that. It was like he just went, he just put his head through it and it went
straight through it, yeah.
I was like, what is this guy made of, bro?
I thought it was called the burst ball at that time. I thought it's gonna be a burst, gonna deflate that ball.
That's it. Is his header that even sets up the goal? He wins that header that then
he wins up the back. Yeah,
mate, he's actually doing bits, bruv. He's doing bits,
and he shaped the head. It's even made him look tougher and better, doesn't it? A real centre half he was.
I was thinking, should I bring back the? Not now, bruv. I'm trying to. Half of my team got bald heads. I'm doing this, bruv.
Go for the Thiago and that Phillips look.
Get the pick out. Take it off, bruv. Join us.
Bruv, come on, man. Come on. Nah, do you know
Come
what's
on,
mad? Yeah, it's freezing in here. But shout out to LFC Alex. Thiago is due an assist soon. So many chances that have been created by him that the attackers have scuffed. Also, Phillips is sexy. That is the best way to describe that Phillips.
He is.
And do you know what? The skinhead is doing bits. I'm not asked. He feels.
Oh, that's what I'm saying to you, bruv. Come on, bruv. Get the pick out. Get it out and join us, bruv.
It could be the start of his modelling career for Men's Health or something, couldn't it? It really suits him. He has it to a T, like, doesn't he?
No, mate, he's unreal. He's unbelievable. Someone did bring up in the chat as well. Yeah, it's here. Shout out to Sam. He says, when is Jones going to play? Now, obviously, Naby Keita and James Milner got brought on, and I'm fine with that because it was either Naby Keita or Curtis Jones. Yep, I'll lead to Ox.
We were 1-0 up when he come on.
Even when Oxlade came on, he played well. So, but the first two was Milner and Keita at the same time, weren't it? And I was fine with that because what I wanted was James Milner and Keita or Curtis, one or the other. But James Milner had to come on, slow the tempo, get a bit of leadership in there, gives you a little bit more defensively, and Thiago needed to get off the pitch, let's just be real. That happens. Oxlade-Chamberlain then comes on later, has a very good game. But Curtis, he hasn't played in this game. Did he play against Leipzig? Or did he come on?
No, he didn't even come on.
He didn't come on.
So, with the form, so with all of us just chatting undroppable, #undroppable Curtis Jones, the second a player also comes back, he gets dropped. He gets dropped. So
I would have brought him.
But I don't agree.
I would have brought him on. You know when he brought on Ox? That was a perfect. Why are you bringing on Ox, bro? What's Ox really going to offer us at that time? Bring on Curtis. That would have been a nice. You know what I mean? See at the
Ox
last.
played well.
The only thing I can think of, lads, for that is that he's proved himself already. He's made a season, so he's been a really good thing that's come out of the season. But the people that haven't proved themselves this season is like Naby Keita because of injury. So it's probably last chance salon for Naby. So he's going to need game time between now and the end of the season. Same with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Thiago needs game time as well to prove himself because obviously he hasn't been the ready-made world-class player in a lot of games that we expect him to be. So I think Jurgen might be looking and thinking, you know what, he's only 20 years of age, he's only turned 20, Jonesy. Let's put him aside, he's a young player, we don't want to burn him out too soon. He's probably had a chat with him, says, look, your game time will come, there's an intense, huge season ahead for you next season, because I think he plays a massive part for us next season. And I think some of the thinking is Naby needs to prove himself, Ox needs to prove himself, Thiago, Genie's going to be going soon, and obviously he's being captain of late as well, so he can't be dropped. And then Fabinho come back in the midfield, gives one option less in there because he has to start in that CDM every game. If you want to be still in with a couple of games to go for top four, you want to be in the Champions League, you have to play Flacco there. So
Darren, can I intercept dead quick? Because you mentioned top four, and I just feel like that was a great chance for me to just jump in there and get onto this conversation. Because with these 3 points, a lot of people have been asking me throughout the stream. After the stream, I've looked in my DMs. People are saying, James, can we now get top four? Because people know, if you watch me, I've been adamant for weeks we're not even going to get top six, let alone top four. And I've only said that, not because I'm a negative Nancy, not because I'm being a dickhead. I'm trying to just be real, and it's one of them things where you present me the circumstances that Liverpool are currently in, more bad jumps out than good. And it's one of them things where, yes, we have a Fabinho back right now, tearing it up in that number 6 position, but first off, we need him to stay fit. And I feel like, and I said this to Callum, Fabinho is probably the most important player to our squad at the minute. Mo Salah for goals, certainly, but with Jota coming back, I feel like now not as important, still very important, but Fabinho is everything. He has to be there. He gives the confidence to the centre-backs, he gives the confidence to the midfielders in front of him. Therefore, if he's not there, everything breaks apart. He's like the glue that keeps the team together for me, and that was evident again today. So if he goes out, you can say goodbye to top four, and you can say goodbye to top six, because we're not getting many wins if Fabinho isn't in that team. You'll see the similar performances from Thiago. You'll see very similar performances like you've been seeing from Genie at times, even though he's been very good for the majority. But slow tempo, not really getting forward, not unleashing his shots. This is where I'm concerned about when we're talking about top four. I don't know what you think, boys, but I feel like it's just too late now. It's too late to enter that race. We can't even really be thinking about it. Let's just focus on next year, and this year we'll focus on the Champions League.
I feel go on, Dan. No, go on. I'll let you go.
Yeah, sorry. So I think we're 5 points behind Chelsea. We're not over until we're over. There's 9 games to go, but I think that's optimism and that's being positive. But I think realistically, you would have to say just keep taking every game as it comes. Like after this international break, it's going to be like nearly almost a reset for a lot of teams. So go into the next game. It's Arsenal, then we've Villa, we've Leeds. So we've a lot of tough games coming up. But if we get through them, like results have been going their way, it's very unfortunate we drop points against Fulham and particularly against Chelsea, because if we'd beat Chelsea, it was almost like a cup final. We were into the top four and we're probably thinking, yeah, this is a chance we get through to it. So I was very disappointed that in those 2 games we didn't even take up a point or get a win, because then we're right back in the mix. I've said it all season, I don't believe there's 4 better teams in the league over 38 games. Now, that's proved me wrong up to now, but we're 29 games now. There's 9 games, isn't that, to go after tonight? There's a lot of football to still play with 9 games and then with the European Cup, but you would nearly say you're probably looking at winning 7 or 8 of them as a definite. And I think even all 9 games, but the way it's going, West Ham I'd probably drop off. We're relying on Chelsea. I don't think Leicester are going to drop off. They're too far ahead. They got a big convincing win yesterday. It'll be interesting though, because after Project Restart last year, I think there was 8 or 9 games to go. They completely fell off. Now they've a lot of injuries, but they've had a lot of injuries this season. I just think they're too experienced now. They've better players there now. They have that know-how. I think they'll get in it. I think it's going to be United, City, Leicester. Then it's between Liverpool and Chelsea, but you would fancy Chelsea.
I feel like Chelsea are more like...
Yeah.
Do you know what I think? I feel like our best hope is Everton not doing well for the rest of the season, Leicester dropping out the top 4, and West Ham dropping out the top 4.
Yeah.
They're the teams we've got to watch out for, because Chelsea, Man United and City, for me, are already confirmed. Chelsea and Man United can be whatever way round you want that to be. And shout out to Conroy, by the way. Thank you for coming into the stream, fella. I hope you're well, my mate. 3 glorious points for the mighty Reds. But I think it'll be Leicester, Chelsea, and if it's going to be Liverpool, like you said, Darren, we're going to need to win the rest of our games. Because also, I believe other teams have games in hand and whatnot, so it doesn't bole entirely well.
West Ham have a game in hand. Just West Ham and Everton.
Okay.
Is it? What about Villa? No.
I'm not sure. I'm not too worried about Villa. We'll beat them. We have them at home. Well, suppose that's not a good thing, is it?
Darren? Villa, who beat Arsenal at 7-2. Oh, Villa are good.
You know what it is as well? We don't have a lot of top 6 teams left to play, though. I'm sure. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing that kind of bodes well for us. It's one of them ones where we just got to not even think about it.
That's true. Yeah. Well,
sorry,
if we don't think about it, and we just maybe concentrate on the Champions League, and we just go through, and because if we do Arsenal, then we get that precious 3 in a row. But like if we think about it, that's when I think that we're notoriously gonna.
What makes you think we'll be Arsenal right now?
No,
what have you seen? Arsenal look. I watched Arsenal yesterday. It looked much better than us right now.
No, I do think getting top 4 is it's such it's a momentous task when you look at the 9 games you left. But I think the players be professional enough to just keep saying, you know what, we take each game, and I know that can be a bit of a bored mentality and it's not what fans want to hear, but just take every game. The Champions League, we've all probably ruled them out of top 4 by now, so there's probably nothing for them to lose. Let's try and get some positives out of the season. Let's try and even have, going into the last 3 or 4 games, some hope that we're 3 or 4 points over, but I don't think we are going to get it. But let's just try and get as high a finish as we can in the league. Let's take some pride out of what's left.
Yeah,
but having saying that, I don't want Europa League either next season. So
that's it. That's the thing. I actually don't think we'll get top 6. I think we'll probably finish 7th or 8th. You're all right, Conroy. What are you saying on the game, my mate? Because I think me and you were kind of similar on the thing.
We'll find out. I've got to be honest. I watched a bit of the watch along as well with you and Callum, James. I'll usually check it out at half time, mate, to get your thoughts. But I'll be honest, guys. I told you I would be more inclined to see the difference playing that team against a team who doesn't come out flying at the traps or give us loads of space. And I was actually very disappointed with the midfield, or just keeping the ball tonight. So poor. It was like a basketball game. Wolves were just as bad, don't get me wrong, but if that had been against a decent team who could hold the ball tonight. By the way, Ruben Neves, right, chucking out there, is he underperforming in his career? Because every time we play against him, I feel like people keep hyping him up, and I just think he never does anything that's that's another subject. But we'll maybe talk about that in the Premier League roundup, James. You can bring that up. But in general, with tonight, I thought defensively, Kabak and Phillips, smashed it again. I was really happy with them. I thought Trent was my man in the match. I thought it's the best defensive performance I've seen.
I
Trent
thought
have.
I was
Superb.
going to say that. Trent was my man.
Shout out, by the way, shout out to Mike Tyson for the super chat because he's asking our man of the match out. I'm sure we all unanimously say, I know, Mike Tyson, mate, Mike Tyson. He's the one and only, the one and only.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike. Trent was superb. Like genuinely, like I'm not his biggest fan, but he going about all the time when he's maybe had an average game. But I thought tonight defensively he looked brilliant. Even the one where it was like they tried the Hendo cross Wolves quite a lot, the early curl ball, and the one at the end where he just plucked it out there and cleared it. I thought he was brilliant tonight. But I just thought, don't get me wrong, like a lot of fans were hating on Mane, and I wasn't happy with him. But he had a terrible moment, and he had a good moment, and he had a terrible moment, and then we nearly conceded because he gets the ball away.
But it was better than other performances.
But Conroy, what I will say to you is, and you'll probably agree with me, it was a change in personnel. At least he had a goal. His attitude was spot on. What would I say?
How can he can't take a ball down from the air, and it's like he looks around and it's like, what is happening to him? It's like he's wearing slippers when he's running. I don't know what he's doing.
I thought he'd a pair of roller skates on.
Mate, honestly, how can you goal?
But then for the goal.
What amazing movement, and then the guy.
That's what I'm saying. This is what I said to Hammers.
I don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on with him right now. I do not know what's going on with him. He looks all over the place. He actually looks like James said he maybe needs a few games out, and I think he maybe does, because you might think, what are you talking about? But then like he does sound great, but then it's the 94th minute and he loses the ball, and we nearly concede. It's like,
see, exactly, and you're just like, what are you, bro?
And he doesn't seem to understand that referees do not fall for that shit with him anymore.
That was we got away with that chance where he loses at the halfway line and they go on the attack. That was
he can't
really
fall
hard
down anymore, guys. Referees
got away with
know he falls down easy, right? So he needs to accept that he just doesn't get fouls anymore. And when he should go down is when he gets touched in the box, which has happened 3 times in 5 games, and he doesn't go down.
Exactly, and he doesn't go down. I was like,
what is happening in his head at the moment? What is going on? Like, I do not understand.
I said it's worth more going down now, because just in this day and age, they're not going to pull that back if you don't go down. People can say you're diving all you want. At the end of the day, you're the one who ends up with the penalty.
James, when there's contact, you can maybe say, I would always say, that annoys me with football. A referee should say, if there's contact, it's a penalty. You shouldn't have to go down.
You need to know that as a player. That's not
you need to go down nowadays, because referees, Michael Oliver said that in the Everton game, no one appeal for it. You shouldn't need to appeal for anything in football. Actually, footballers should stay silent and the referee makes the decision, because that's what the rules say. You don't have to appeal for anything. But unfortunately, refs look for that, and that's just the way the game is. And that's 3 times, guys. Newcastle, Sheffield United away, and tonight, that if he falls down, they look at it and you get a pen.
And the thing is, I'm not kind of advocating diving or anything like that.
It's not a dive with contact, though, mate.
He clearly contacts. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? We go 1-0 up, but then you don't, and it's not even like your decision making is at its peak, like it was for you to then do something. I'm like, oh my god, bro.
I don't really know how to judge that performance though, because it was so weird. I was having a go at them, and then he done that for the goal, and then he done a touch in the second half, and I was like, that was amazing. And then he couldn't take a simple ball down, and I was like, this.
Even the touch for the goal, the 2 touches for the goal, incredible.
Nick,
like the first touch, passes it. I'm like, that's my.
We're not advocating for him to dive, but we're advocating for him to have a little fall, because this day and age, it will get the penalty.
No, but there's contact on all 3 of those occasions.
Yeah, there was contact.
It's not even like. Do you know, like the ones where he does fall down and get a free kick? They're not free kicks, and he falls over. But when he does get touched, he stays up.
To go up then.
That's the thing, though. Like, even if you get clipped outside the box, but you stay on your feet, there's still a chance that you're allowed to keep going forwards, and you're sort of allowed to keep playing. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas, for example, exactly. Whereas even Lewis says, I'm a local ref, boys, and I reward players for not diving, and I think people should do the same. Reward players for being on their feet. I agree, but outside the box, from what we know, yeah, exactly. It just doesn't happen.
Refs guess, like they don't guess all the time, but it's hard to be a ref. We're sometimes too hard on refs. We are too hard, right? And it's like we forget.
There's ways to make the job easier for them. Do you get what I mean? It doesn't have to be this hard.
I would love if refs just like, so VAR looked at that earlier and went, I'm going to have a look at that and bring it back. But it's like anything. See, if you do a job in a routine, they're going to make the obvious things, the ones that are obvious, they're going to look at. And unfortunately, the guy's point's a valid point, and I've been saying it for years. And as Dan knows, I'm not an obvious fan when it comes to refs. I'm more sympathetic in other situations, and I feel like the culture in Britain is very much the abuse culture towards refs is an issue, and I've spoken about that before. But the problem I've got,
it's horrendous.
The problem I've got is, it's like, I think we just need to accept that. See, if you don't go down when there's contact, I don't mean when Salah gets touched against Leicester and everyone's screaming for a penalty. That's embarrassing. But when a goalkeeper puts his hand out and catches your leg, the Sheffield United player goes in the middle of his legs, and then the Newcastle keeper grabs him there. That's sufficient to go down. Do you know what I mean? It's that's a significant foul. So, I unfortunately, that's just the way football doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, mate, and you need to go down nowadays because refs just don't look at it if you don't.
We're not advocating diving, we're advocating taking a little slip, especially if you have rollerblades on, which
there's a difference between diving, though. There's a difference between diving. It's like significant contact. That's the name of the game. Significant contact. Rangers against Antwerp, right? That was embarrassing. That's a dive because it's not significant contact, but. It's not difficult to know.
But the thing is, here's the problem though. Loads of people have got so many different little opinions, and to be honest, it's just not going to get solved for many of them reasons. So it's one of them things. Mate, you hear what I'm saying?
You're so right, James. We argue with it, mate. But the thing is, right? Someone will on comment and will watch this video and say something different and say it should be this way, and it's like,
and that's fine.
It's fine. No, it is, but it's tiresome because everyone seems to think they've got the best solution, and unfortunately, this has been happening for. How long's the Premier League going on? And we've still not got a perfect solution, so I can't see it changing anything soon.
28 years of it.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, 29 now.
Years of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
That's a good debate, though, guys, in itself. I was going to ask you, because I was... See the goal, obviously, Fots de Rue, Patricio, and all that. Shocking. But my question was, because I do think sometimes you get Twitter FC comes out as soon as you finish a game, and it's like... They were talking about that decision. Now, don't get me wrong, my thoughts are on it. See when it's clear and obvious, like the ones that is like 2 yards or whatever, just put the flag up, don't mess about. I completely get that. But personally, I thought he was onside during the game, so I don't understand. I think that's too tight for the linesman to put his flag up when he's told
when Rui Patricio went down, and people were saying Callum mentioned that you know, someone said in the chat this is why linesmen have to get the flag up straight away, essentially because it's too much diddly daddlying about in case it is a serious injury. But like you said though, that was fine fucking margins, especially nowadays as well, where they have to be checked.
But and what would those fans be saying if we scored, James, and the goal didn't count because he put his flag up early?
What would the fans be saying if they're in that position? If you're being told don't put your fucking flag up until we say so, then don't put your flag up. You're being told to do that. You can't just break the rules because of moments, because some players went down. Even though, in hindsight, we knew it was serious, and people are saying in the chat, like, you know, he's all right and whatnot, which is brilliant to hear. He's communicating, which is
he's talking.
There's obvious ones, though, guys. There's obvious ones. Like, I can tell when he's offside, but that's not obvious. I didn't think he was offside.
That's not obvious at all.
Not for me.
It's like one of them things where, don't get me wrong, there's times where they take the absolute fucking piss, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what, mate? Like, you can't be being serious about this right now in terms of some of the decisions that comes into the mind. But that one, you just can't have a go at anyone for that. That was just an unfortunate circumstance. Like, it weren't even one of our players that injured him. It was
Cody that hit him with a knee,
It's such an unfortunate circumstance that it's no one's fault, and you've just got to kind of not move over it. As long as he's healthy, though, you move over it. You don't blame no one.
But that'll be a debate. That'll be in a column in a paper tomorrow, and they'll make that something. And this is the problem. This is the problem. What happens now, right? It's like a case of, right, we try to put a rule in. So a rule is like when it's tight, the lines, we keep the flag down. For me, that's a good way of doing it. Not when it's obvious. That's stupid. Just put your flag up. But see when it's tight. See if you say, we'll eradicate that. So see when it's a Champions League final and someone scores his onside, and then all the fans are saying we want VR to work. See, to be honest, that makes sense to me with the flag, because it's the only way you can do it fairly. That if it's tight and the linesmen aren't sure, and you know how difficult it is. You watch Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, shout out to Stroh who mentioned that earlier. It's like when they done it, they thought it was onside and it was offside, and it was offside and it was onside. So you know the tight ones. So for me, that's the only logical way to do it. Don't get me wrong, if it's like 2 yards, the obvious ones that we can all call out, fair enough. But sometimes don't make a debate out of something that there's a reason they're doing that. They're trying to improve the game because people wanted VAR brought in. Remember that. Remember when we used to abuse refs after every game, saying we've got this technology, we should use it. Do you remember that? Remember when we made our bed?
It's because people thought it weren't going to be as fucking... Nah, but you know what, though? It's because we didn't think it was going to be this complicated and it was going to take the piss.
No,
we said,
because you
know like the way goal line technology, the way that worked to a treat straight away.
It's not objective, though, is it? It's not objective. It's subjective in areas. No, but what I mean, James, I'm just talking about the offside. I'm not talking about the whole... I just mean, like, the offside one makes a lot of sense because it can be that tight that it needs to be looked at again, and then it'd be unfair for a team. So I think that's, unfortunately, that's the only way. I don't think there's another way of doing it with linesmen where I couldn't think of anything where it's a case of if it's tight, they need to just let it go, and then if it's offside after review, it's offside. And like, I know we can talk about toes and that being offside. That's a different debate. But regarding VR as a whole, though, mate, like, I do agree that's a bigger conversation. But on tonight, though, I just think I agree with you. I think sometimes people just need to accept. It's like people can't just accept unfortunate things. It always has to be right. This is a column. This is a debate.
It's always got to be someone. No, it's got to be someone's fault.
Yeah,
it's got to be so. Like, you've got to have your finger to point at someone. Because once you've got that someone to point that finger at, you feel much better. Or people on Twitter feel much better about themselves.
It's exhausting, but
it's crazy. But even Bale EU says, Arsenal fans, do you think you will beat us when we play? Off that game today, there's no evidence to say that we're going to play Arsenal off the park and guarantee win that game of football.
Did you watch Arsenal? Did you watch Arsenal, guys? I watched
Arsenal, and they look very, very good. Don't get me wrong. Mourinho sat off. But Arsenal deserve to win. And that was one of them things where Arsenal seem to have one of their best days because they still look really good in possession. And Tottenham kind of had one of their more down days, but it was because of tactics and whatnot. But if Arsenal come to us like that, there's no reason why it won't be a tough game.
We're only 5 points ahead of them as well. Like, I mean, we remember at one stage Arteta was on his way out and they turned up against Chelsea, beat them 3-1, played them off the park. Really professional, compact, composed performance all around them. And they've kicked on since then. There's been a little bit of inconsistency, but I think the win at Leicester was big for them. Burnley, they were probably unlucky. I mean, it's they give away a mad goal.
They've had similar issues to us, haven't they, Darren? Like goal scoring, like at times, even Aubameyang got dropped. Obviously, that was discipline issues, but still,
but it was a statement.
On the pitch, yep.
But the only thing is, we're going away to them. We're not playing at home somewhere where we've struggled since 67 unbeaten. We seem to be better on the road, so. It's not for a couple of weeks. It's not till the start of April, so we'll see how it goes after the international.
Practice the finishing then for a couple of weeks.
The international break coming at a bad time for us, do you think? Or?
Get Bobby, get Salah, get Mane, all shooting 100 shots at that fucking goal
James, Callum said that.
I've said that. Do you know what? I said that to Callum the other day as well.
300 shots in front of a goalkeeper. No, he doesn't. No, honestly,
he doesn't. People forget. Like for example, I do boxing training. If I want to improve my jab, I will repeatedly hit that fucking bag with my jab. Just does that make any sort of sense?
I know. I hear what you're saying. 100%. No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, but I actually think, to be fair, the reason we're in this position is because they've been taking 300, 400 shots non-stop. But what I would personally do is just give them a flipping break. Like, they just seem burnt out.
No, but in front of goal, you don't need to, like, whether you're burnt out or not, you just need to know how to shoot on fucking goal.
In the box.
You don't need legs.
In the box.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Let me rephrase, because I've had it where, like, I remember once when we were playing school football, and I made this belt of run. I was playing right back, boys. Oh my god, made the run of my life. Like, talk about Trent before Trent actually became Trent. I was there, mate. So I'm bombing down the right hand side. Yeah, mate. JR before TAA. Lad, I'm there like this. There, like doing a little Raheem Sterling thing. You know what I mean, boys? I'm just there, mate. I even megged the kid on the way there. Oh, he was fuming. He even offered me a fight after the game. It was boss. Anyway, so I'm bombing it, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, shit, what's going to happen here? So I'm through on goal at this moment. And you know, like, when you're through on goal, like a proper man. Bro, and I'm not a striker. I'm not a striker in the slippery slightest. So as I'm getting to goal, I'm like, right, let me get close and let me just hit it outside of the boot or something, look a little bit fancy. Birds are watching, come ahead, let's show what I can do. Bro, I was that tired. So when it got to the shot,
No, you don't.
I just like, bro, it was a P roller, and it was a P roller at its finest. It didn't even go on target. I was fuming.
Oh mate,
I was
they're
like,
the
oh
worst.
my
They're the
God.
worst. You'd rather sky it.
I tried to get it with the outside of my foot, bro. Boys, that's how he banged the fuck.
Try the Luis Suarez before he gets
mate, I was there like nowhere. I was trying to be like Tavernier or something.
Especially the anticipation after going on the run, and everyone, go on, you have it, and then blows it.
Do you know the only one I
saw?
The only one I saw from a person who didn't score, professional footballer, who I was like, that is like, he is ice cold, and he was never scored. To see Ramirez against Barcelona at the Nou Camp when he got through, that was like any of us, because I play like, I'm not a striker, I play left mid, so you come through, all that panic sets in, and he just chips Valdez, and I remember thinking,
facts.
This guy's a robot, like, because defensive midfielders don't do that, and I was like, I always remember thinking,
was that the comeback, was it for them?
Yeah,
that night when they got a Torres then, was it?
To be fair, yeah. That was Neville went.
Hey Nick, do you know when you said as well about the situation with the players being tired? I don't think it comes into a tie where they're shooting and whatnot, but I do get what you... For example, Mane, and even Jake asked here, do you think Mane should be dropped due to his recent performances? I've said time and time again, yeah. And I'm missed, like, Mane made me, boys. Do you get what I mean? And I'm on that boat. Of course, bro. And I'm not saying sell him.
He's on the thumbnail, James. He's literally on the... I can see him. He's right there.
He's there. He's over there. He's chilling. He's got a smile on his face. When his haircut was normal for us at least. Now it looks weird. And like, it makes him look more sad. Do you get what I mean? It's like he's tried to fix his hairline and he shouldn't have.
I was thinking that. I was like,
don't fix what's not broken. Don't fix what's not broken. You don't have to. But in Mane specifically, I see a lack of legs. And you know what? It ties into something I was trying to say before, actually. You look at Robbo, you look at Mane, they're still doing okay at times, but they're still not the same. They're not the same as what they was in the previous season. Whereas you look at Jota and you look at Thiago, two new players, they were pressing like a motherfucker today. Like the way we used to press. So realistically, there is a lot of substance to the argument of when people say our players are worn out. It might not just be an excuse. And
I said it a couple of weeks ago, James, that I almost got the impression from Liverpool when they were turning up and the attitude wasn't there, and we were just too pedestrianised, too pessimistic, that we almost needed to reset, go back into reset mode, 4 or 5 weeks off and start the season off where everybody starts on 0 points, bring in 2 or 3 signings, freshen things up and just give the lads all a break, because particularly after Fulham, they just looked down. That was it. Now we've done well to bounce back. I know there can be critical points, talking points about tonight, but overall, I'm really, really pleased that the personnel is back a lot better and brighter, and we're going all out against teams. And even off the ball, the pressing, as you mentioned, was a lot better tonight. And you have to take small steps, you know what I mean, and take the positives over, because after that Fulham defeat, I thought maybe it can get worse. Going out against Leipzig would be a hell of a lot worse, and then you're going into a huge game away to Wolves. A stadium where we've got a lot of we've won every game, I think, since they were promoted there in the league. We've beaten them at home in the league. Won, obviously, most notably 4-0 earlier in the season. So you were always just dreading that it could just get worse and it was going to be a slippery slope. But thankfully, we've turned it around.
Do you think they went against us wrong, though, guys? Because remember, Wolves don't really press like Fulham's in that press. They gave us more time on the ball. Do you think that was maybe
they were poor too, weren't they?
No, they weren't great. Do you know what? I gave them a bit too much credit after the game, because in hindsight, there was many moments where it just, like what you said, Conroy, it was just like a basketball match. And this is why I wanted to do this show, because I can sit there after the game and go, oh yeah, both teams played well and we luckily got out. But I didn't think we played well. And actually, looking back, Wolves didn't play too much better, so they couldn't have played well. I might be just thinking of standards, and it might be the fact I don't watch them too often.
I think defence played well though for us, right? Because defence was good.
I thought that. Defence was very good.
It was like a game of two halves, and I don't mean first half and second half. I mean the half of the team. First half of the team was just not doing much up front, and then you had the back line doing everything that they needed to do and more.
Defensively, we were better tonight. My headline was "Back to winning ways," because I thought again, Nat Phillips, as you say, James, Nathaniel Van Dijk. Nathaniel. But it was brilliant, though. I mean, the defence again tonight, composed, compact.
No, I had a few moments. No, I had a few mistakes tonight. We need to be fair. It was good tonight. Kabak was the best one.
A lot of even
them.
Alisson
Kabak
made
is
it feel like
growing
there's a lot of
confidence.
confidence issues. There's a lot of confidence issues within the team, and even Kabak, like I thought he was very solid today. Do you get what I mean? That Phillips sound. Do you get what
He was
I mean?
the best
It's just one of them
defender
things
tonight,
where
No,
Yeah, give credit where credit's due. I'm always Phillips' biggest fan, but Kabak tonight was the best because Kabak twice, I think, he covered them. Like Phillips was really good, but there was just one time where he got a bit too eager for it, and then they lost the ball because Silva flicked it, and it was like Morgan Gibbs-White was in one-on-one against Kabak, and then Kabak swept in, dealt with it. Yeah, so done really well tonight. Got to give credit where credit's due. And I thought Rob was always sound defensively, but Trent was
good defensively.
Trent was unreal. Do you know what, boys? I feel like with the fact there's around 15 minutes left, so we'll jump off because I know it's late and whatnot. I thought maybe we could do the player ratings, so maybe we could just go through, talk about each player individually, round it up there, maybe. Shine with that. Boss. People, make sure that you smash the likes. Thank you for everyone who's tuning in.
That comment about Ali first, I don't know if you wanted to discuss that, mate.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say to start off. So what are your thoughts from on Ali not catching the ball? I think he's lacking confidence, and after the early drop, he was scared to catch it. I'm not going to lie, for me, I've said this for a while, there was even one moment in the Leipzig game where he didn't quite look himself, but he didn't have much really go to against them. Even today, like a lot of the shots, they were straight at Alisson and he should have made them, but I'm just seeing him on some of them crosses, and I do think like there is a difference in confidence there, and I don't know why that is, but he's still the best option we've got, so it's not like we should really change. But Keller is injured, so regardless of whatever, hopefully, even you asked before, Darren, is that will this international break even be good for us? Hopefully it'll be good for Alisson, just to get a bit of time, clear his head.
Where I would sympathise with Alisson is, obviously we know the tragedies went through in the last few weeks, and he bounced back straight away. He was back within, I think, 7 or 8 days for the Chelsea game. So his headspace isn't going to be 100%, and we all know if you're not 100%, you're not up for it. This is really tough, demanding league to be taking part in. So I do sympathise from him in that, but I suppose, look, 2 games now, 2 clean sheets. He wasn't great in the duel when the balls are coming in the air, catching him and stuff, and there was a couple of hesitant moments, but he's kept 2 clean sheets, which I'm very pleased, because there was times this season where I thought he was really good and we were still losing games. So definitely. But he doesn't get a high rating tonight. He can't, can he?
I'll say a 5.
I'd say that 5.
I'd agree with 5.
There was
one punch. There was one punch that was just unnecessary, and then they actually nearly came and scored off it. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, "What? Why are you even doing that?" I think it might have been the first one, and then he punched a couple of others. I don't know, man. It was.
What was you going to say, Conroy?
I'd give him a 6. See this? I think that point, Lewis George's point's a brilliant point. I think Alisson has been very good. His save against Leipzig was brilliant. I think he's just fumbled one in the first minute, and he's just thought, I'm not going to try and catch any awkward ones tonight. I'm just going to punch it. I'll be honest, guys, when he punched it, I thought the punch was still good. I don't like when keepers punch, but I understand Alisson doesn't usually do that, so if he's feeling a bit uncomfortable, I gave him a 6 because he makes a good save off Semedo right after making that mistake.
That is true.
Which is quite important.
I forgot about that.
And he calms that to the
side.
He
would have got a lower rating though for me. Yeah. Like even with that save in mind, I'd still give him a 5 because he would have got a lower rate. I didn't think he played that well today. I get what you mean with punching away and whatnot. It's just like I've saw what he can do in them type of situations. He's world class, and he can get that. Like he can carry that. Yeah, mate. Like he's a ball carrier. He can just go there, grab it, and it's fine. It doesn't matter if Peter Crouch is there. He's just great in them situations. Today, I didn't feel he was, and I don't feel he was heavily tested in them situations.
And to be very honest with you as well, on another day, he cost us a penalty. If we're being
No, it's
the way you
look
at
it.
it.
Fair enough, guys. Yeah, no, I just want to say, James talks about Alisson's. See, James always talks about Alisson's movement.
Sorry, lads.
Come on.
Like that. Listen to his tunes. Shout out to Mons. You're funny, you lads.
Hey, sorry. It's the first time we had to win in a while. Let me intro myself.
People.
Sorry, Taz. Go on.
Nice intro appearance, Mons. I like it. Mons.
Yeah, go and subscribe to Monson, Big Six Pants. I'm trying to get the name up there. There we go. Big Six Pants, great YouTube channel doing great work and listening to great tunes from the sounds. With my mate listening to great tunes.
Love it.
No, of course, that sounds. Monch, we're on the topic of Alisson. We're kind of sort of agreeing on a 5, but Conroy's gone with a 6. I don't know what you think, my mate.
Yeah, I'll go 5.5. I'm gonna be on the fence because I feel like he gave away a pen.
How's that fence you sitting on, man?
Yeah, he's. Do you know what? I'll be real. No, I'm giving him a 5 actually. I'm not being generous because for Ali's standards, like that wasn't a good performance by him. He does what he does well in terms of what Alisson is so good at is making good shots look really easy by just through his positioning. You know, he won't tip the ball around the post when he could just catch it because he'll just catch it. Like even the free kick, really good example. Didn't have to dive for it. Great positioning, great judgment of the ball. That's a perfect example. But but the commanding of his area today, punching crosses that didn't need to be punched. You know, the penalty incident in the second minute, we got away with murder. He's getting a 5. Sorry, man, he's getting a 5.
Nice. So I feel like unanimously...
I'm not going to fight his over a mark for his...
No, of course not.
6 is pretty low in my mind anyway. I just thought the Semedo save was a good save. That if we concede then, it's like, could collapse because the rest of the team won't control. Yeah, but do you know what? 5, I'll happy.
No, you have a good point, Conroy. Stick to the 6.
Stick to the 6, lads. You know what I mean?
Even though I say 5.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's
Conroy, you're right in what you say most of the time.
Conroy, I'm not going to fight.
Yeah.
4 gets 1, bro. Of course you're not.
What did he say?
People, make sure that you smash them. I know, no fights around here, yeah. No Mike Tyson business, you know what I mean? Shout out to Mike Tyson.
Nick actually knows where I stay. Nick could be outside my house in half an hour.
Yeah.
Smash the like button though, man. Big up.
Definitely. Smash the like, people. Go subscribe to the boys. So we've got a 5 for Alisson. Make sure as well that you're getting involved in the chat, of course, with the player ratings. Robbo, again, I don't think Robbo had the greatest of games. I'm not going. I thought he improved second half. First half, I just didn't feel he was great. I thought he was the worst of the back 4. Let's say it like that.
Yeah, no, I would agree, but I don't. It's hard to say that, but it's true. Do you know? I mean, but I didn't think he had a bad game. I thought he kept what's his name?
Second half, Traore kept him really quiet.
He kept Traore quiet. And I think Robbo's a victim of his own high standards as well. Sometimes, do you know what I mean? Like sometimes he just does what needs to be done, and do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, you're right. If I had to judge it, he was the worst of the 4.
But could I just add to that? Can I add to that, Nick? The one player he struggled against was Traore for the last couple of years. He's done him a few times, and tonight he didn't. So if we're talking about Robbo's standards, his previous performances were poor against Wolves. So I would say, for me, I'd give him a 6.5 because I actually thought he done really well.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, I'll give him a 6.
Not overall, but just Traore. It doesn't matter how good a fullback guy. He's a nightmare to play against. I thought he done really well.
Conroy, you took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say that. And I was giving him a 6.5. Believe it or believe it not. Yeah, definitely.
Just because he struggled in the past. He struggled in the past against them.
Yeah, he was excellent tonight against Traore.
Yeah, definitely, man.
6.5, totally agree.
What are you saying, Monch?
Giving him a 6. I just don't think. Of course, yeah, he was all right defensively today, but in fact, he was good defensively. Let me not beat around the bush.
We underestimate how good Rob is defensively. He never gets beat down his side, and we just accept that as like we train
the norm now. It's
every
just
week,
the norm now,
which is like that's not really fair, is it?
But what Robertson is so consistent in going. If we flip it round, going forward, like today, his transitional play was okay. In transitions of play, he was okay.
It wasn't great.
He wasn't great. He was okay, but his end product, for me, it really. I didn't see anything coming from the left side. I saw no danger of Liverpool coming down the left side today. Like, and I think it's been like that for a while now. You know, I don't know if you guys have covered Mane yet, but we'll get on to Mane. But
we can't judge him for previous. We can only, in terms of these ratings, we can only judge him.
100%. For Robertson today, I just think he wasn't just going forward today. There was no potency in his attack. I feel like there was no confidence. Even when he put in the cross, He's
He did
kinda
skin
just
that
not-
guy though. He did skin the guy.
was good run.
That was unbelievable. Like, that's actually one of the best things Robbo's done recently, to get me off my feet and go, ah! Like,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
I actually want to see my reaction back to that, because, mate, I lost my shit. But you know what, though, before you just say... In fact, Conroy, you say your bit and then I'll say what I thought.
I was going to say, I think Monts is spot on. The thing is, though, with Robbo, you need to remember, this is an important point, Andrew Robertson is not technically a baller. He's never been a baller. If you watch the way he plays a left-back, he's a great left-back, right? And he's a great left-back because he follows the patterns of play that he does. So see, for example, how many left-backs just get the ball wide, right, and swing it in? Andy Robertson's probably has got the least kind of cross-merchant left-back, I'd say, in the world. Maybe not as much now because we're struggling, but even when we're in form, Trent would have 8 crosses a game. Andy Robertson maybe he's very patient, just the right timing. For me, it's like, because him and Manny, I'm not saying it's Manny's fault, they're both not linking up, and I just feel like you can tell that they're playing safe. I would say they're not being poor. I just think they're playing safe. I think Rob was like, nah, I'm not going to take a man on because we're struggling already. And that, you're right though, Monts, that's no excuse. But I don't think it's a case of lack of ideas. I think they just don't want to give the ball away because they feel like when they give it away, the transition and now. But I would agree, mate. I'd say his crossing is just not good enough.
That's what I think. I think it's just one of them things where you can, if you're going to compare other performances, like past performances against Adama Traore, yes, defensively in them games he might have had a torrid time, but I'm sure he had an alright game going forward, especially if we got a few goals in them games. And so it's like the roles have reversed. Defensively, he's still looking solid and he's still doing okay, which is great. You've still got to do that defensive side of the job, but he's not adding that same element of going forward. And again, there's reasons to it, there's excuses, but we're going off today, and for me, I'm going to give the lowest out of everyone. I said a 5.5, but maybe I'm being very, very harsh. Maybe I'd have to watch the game again. I didn't think he was great. I'm not going to lie to you. But I'd say unanimously, that was, what, a 6.5?
I'd say about 6. I'd say about 6 would be fair. Because we said,
Go ahead then. Well, we'll jump through the rest of the back four. We'll jump through the rest of the 11 as quick as possible, because I know you've got to jump off soon, boys. But right back, Trent. We all said man of the match. I'm more than happy to give an 8. I'm fine with an 8.
Yeah, very good defensively tonight, going forward, really good. One of his better games, and as I mentioned earlier, a lot of players owed Diogo and the fans a good performance, and Trent was really good tonight. I thought he was good midweek, so hope he kicks on now, but maybe the international break's not coming at a good time.
Do you think? I mean, you see with Trent, what is kind of funny now, like just actually a quick realization is that, like, Trent's just now doing what Robertson's been doing for so long, and he's getting crazy accolades for it. It's mad. It's mad.
He's getting an 8 tonight.
If I'm Robertson watching this stream, I'm thinking, I do that every... Let me just sit my team.
I disagree. I thought Trent was very fucking good today. I don't feel like that was just like an average... Robbo performance. I feel like Robbo plays very, very good, but I thought Trent actually had a very he exceeded what Trent usually does.
Yeah, I thought defensively Trent doesn't hit performances like that. So I think Robbo does have defensive performances like that, Monts. But I just think Trent, it just like see when he caught the ball at the sky when it was like the Hendo cross, like that's different levels, because even if you're in a good performance, you just look confident. So I was very impressed.
He read the game very well, extremely well.
Yeah, definitely, mate. He really was good today.
Yeah, 100%. So what are we all saying all round?
I'd say 8 as well, mate.
I'm happy with it.
It's right, I'll take that all day. Good game for Trent. Centre-backs, we'll do these in a pair. This is what I said. Kabak as a 9 and Nat Phillips as... Kabak as an 8.5 and Nat Phillips as an 8.
Mon's reaction.
No, I didn't mean to say 9. I meant to say 8.5. 8.5
when you
for
said 9, I
Kabak
was going to put
and
it
an
back
8.
and I'd be like...
No.
Bro, that's something I'd say.
And an 8. 8.5. Let me clarify one more time. 8.5 Kabak and an 8 for Nat Phillips. That's what I thought.
I think that's fair. We're all jumping out the windows with Nat Phillips against Leipzig and come back to some tonight. Let's keep the same energy, guys. You know what I mean?
Very compact and composed, and he's growing in confidence as well. So it's great to see.
He was given man of the match as well.
It's only a 6 game as well, lad. So
Trent was man of the match. I'm not having that. I still thought Trent was man of the match, but that's maybe because I have to rewatch
I agree. I thought Trent was man of the match.
I thought Kabak was man of the match myself. I thought Trent was, even though I said before, now that I'm thinking about it,
I think Kabak was better. Yeah, I think he was our best defender.
You get like 5 man of the matches anyway after a game, guys. I wouldn't worry about it. You go on Twitter, there's like all the different sponsors now.
He was extremely
tidy.
And when he caught Gibbs White.
Oh, definitely. And he covered Robbo quite a few times, like really well. So I was very...
Airley was quite good as well tonight. Quite good tonight, Airley as well.
Speaking of Twitter, Conroy and all that rating, someone on Twitter gave him a 12 out of 10, so that says it all.
Hey,
listen. Welford.
Shout out to Welford. Go subscribe to Welford, people, if you haven't.
Big up Welford, just over there, man. Brilliant, man.
Man like Welford.
Shout out to Welford,
big him up.
Boys, so back four. What have we gone with unanimously there then for Kabak and Phillips?
8.5, 8. I thought was you said. I thought that was quite fair.
I would have done the same, but just switched it around. I thought Nat for me, like even though on the ball, I wouldn't say shaky on the ball. He wasn't as tidy, but you know he's sort of the one that he gets above. I think it might have been Neto for the goal. You know, he gets that header in from the throw just before half time. To get us in, and then we end up scoring the goal. So for me, that's just what edges it for me, because that is key.
Nat Phillips, listen, if you thought he was better, it's thin edge stuff. So if you say
one was better, Welford agrees with you though. He prefers.
I agree with Welford. Yeah,
I thought Kabak was unreal today, boys. I really, really did.
He's a bit of calm as you like, Virgil van Dijk.
Calm as you like. In Virgil van Dijk, and he's not even playing next to Virgil van Dijk. He's playing.
What did I say on Friday? I said something Friday like that after my third beer. I can't remember what I said.
It's what the beer's gonna do to you, my friend. It's what the beer's gonna do to you.
I know the proper 12.
Fabinho, what do we think of the main Brazilian getting back in the midfield? Covering what he does best.
I want to hear Nick and Mont's thoughts, because they were bigging him up since he was the best things in sliced bread during the week. So what do you think of his performance tonight?
I thought, to be honest with you, I thought his performance was actually not bad. I did see, like, I'm not gonna gas. I feel like there was one time when he had a hot in the second half and he like lost the ball. And I was like, you think everyone could literally hear me gasp. I was like, what are you doing? But other than that, no, I thought he was box, man.
I'm only kidding. He was good.
It was presence, man. I'd give him probably 7.5 if I could put it to be 7.5. Yeah.
No, he was good.
I think I'd go with that rating, to be fair, 7.5. I don't feel he was as good as he was against Leipzig, but I still thought he was good.
So. Yeah, I thought he was good. 7.5, around there.
On hindsight, that Leipzig performance was ridiculous. See, when you rewatch it, and he's taking balls out of the air like...
I told you, I said this.
It was actually.
It was crazy. Them legs was just... I was like, what?
It does make a difference. The only problem was, I think the other midfielders just didn't have the same performance tonight. They were just...
Against Leipzig, it's like his legs were telescopic, wasn't it? He was stretching everywhere.
Defo. I love Fabinho. Listen, I love Fabinho, and like I said, I feel like if we do get top 6 or if we do get top 4 somehow, he will be a massive part of that, and he will need to stay fit. There's no 100%. Doubt about it. So I want to clarify that. I'd give him a 7 for myself. Go on, Mons.
I was gonna say I'm gonna give him an 8, and I'll explain why. I don't think it's in terms of, you know, technically on the ball today. You know, there were little times where, you know, he did slip up, but that's because our standards for him are so high. And if you look at that performance in the previous game, when you look at Fabinho's standards, I mean, how can you have Eno and have Fab? Like, that's why I call it fabulous. You can't even add the Eno to make his name sound better, because he's that good. Because he's that good. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I give he gets the extra mark, the whole mark, from a 7 to an 8 for me, because you see the effect he's having on Kabak and Nat. The effect he's having on these boys is immense. I can guarantee you, Thiago's sitting in the DM, you know, because let's be honest, Wolves were woeful in the final third today. They were woeful in the final third. So, you know, with Fabinho there, these guys are like, you know what? We've got the big man in front of us. We're just going to track our runs. We're going to track our runs, win our headers, and let's not get beaten in the one-on-one, and we'll be sound today, because you got Fabulous ahead of us. Simple stuff.
Lovely stuff as well. Absolutely lovely stuff. Shout out to Ben Taylor, says, lads, do we think top 4 is on, or a couple more back-to-back wins first? Big up Virgil van Phillips. Like I said, I don't. I think we're all in this same boat. Top 4, kind of unrealistic, but you never know. We might.
It
only takes a few wins in this league.
Chelsea's fixtures look too easy.
One game at a time.
One game at a time.
It's not in our hands. Put it that way. It's not in our hands.
Yeah.
Too many
That's
things
the
would
way
have
to put
to
it.
happen. Too many things. It's not going to happen. Too many things would have
We'd
to
need
fall
players
in
to stay fit. We'd need mate, there's too many that
Teams
comes
to
into it.
drop
Shout out
and-
to other teams to drop points. Shout out to Asian Industries, says Cab and Nat are yin and yang, air and ground team. Mate, it's mad how much they bounce off each other. It is a very good, the yin and yang, that's a very, very good comment there, because that's what I kind of see. They just kind of look like they're happy to be in each other's presence. They're just like, we're both shit, we're both very unknown, let's just give this a go. And mate, that's what they do, but I love it though. I adore it. And when I say we're both shit, I don't mean the shit players, because you know what I'm standing by there. But they're not known, they're not Premier League level. Let's just go for it. That's why I love it, mate. That is why I have the utmost admiration for what they're doing. Shout out to Gang and Deep. Says the back four was fantastic today and gets the highest ratings. The midfield and the front three, couldn't keep the ball for large parts of the game. The front three is where I have a real issue with the side.
We'll get there.
Absolutely.
100%. But the other two midfielders, Gini and Thiago, we can do these as a pair. Feel like Thiago was the more outstanding performing out of the two midfielders, to be fair. Thought he got involved more off the ball, on the ball after the first 10 minutes, grew more into the game. I like Thiago today.
This is going to be interesting. It's funny how when people watch games, they see, because I think I'm going to agree with Monty here.
I thought he was awful today. I thought
Wow.
there were times where he was awful today.
Yeah.
Really? No,
Instant match reaction already bringing in debates. Love to see it.
I'm already
No,
you know what?
No, it's the way, it's the adjective though. It's fine if you don't think he played well.
I know, I agree. It's awful.
I said
Awful,
awful. He
yeah.
was awful in patches. I feel like that second half of the first half, he grew into his own, like you said, but he started the game. He was just giving away fouls. I just feel like he's always trying too hard. He even gave away that ball literally in the middle of the park, and we're 3-on-2. A better team punishes us. Wolves were woeful in the first half. Remember, Wolves were woeful in front of goal, and I feel like they've spared his blushes, man. I thought he wasn't good today.
I agree with what you said. Me and Hammers both did say that in the first sort of 10 minutes, 15 minutes, he wasn't great at all. But the off-the-ball work that he did, I think, sometimes goes a bit unseen.
You're right, actually.
Off the ball, he was on stuff. He was on stuff. And I was like, you know what? That has to go. You have to, do you know what I mean? But I did say that. I did say, listen, there was a couple of times when even I was like, bro, you're saucier than this, because he'll do a sick pass and then do some next dead and lose the ball, like you said. But I just don't think, I was a bit like, what?
Yeah.
See,
with Thiago, we associate him with being saucy. We associate Thiago with being saucy and being so classy and brilliant on the ball, and those threaded passes like Coutinho-esque type of ball. So we don't really, as off the ball work does go very unrecognised. And I do agree with Nick and James that tonight he was really good off the ball, but probably the first 15, 20 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it was, he wasn't in the game, but he did grow into it. I don't think it was. I've seen him playing worse, but it wasn't a continued performance from Leipzig. I thought he was very good against Leipzig. He makes the most tackles. He should have had an assist on it, but Salah missed the sitter. But tonight wasn't great, but it was scrappy. But I suppose he was on a winning team, a team that didn't concede and won. So, yeah, it's something different, isn't it, from Thiago?
Then one by one, just there briefly, what rating would you give him? I'm going to say a 7 for Thiago. I thought he was very sound.
6.75.
All right, Drifty. Calm down. All right, Drifty. Calm down.
I know, Drifty. Shout out to Drifty.
For me, guys, right, I'll just quickly spiel on it. I would give him a 6, and 6.5. Right, the reason is I'm not even talking about his off the ball work. I actually think he had moments of, I think he played the ball through to Mane for the chance in the foot. Am I right?
He played it to Genie. He played it through, right?
Genie.
But as Mont said, listen, right, we can't have, you have a go at Alisson, right, for being poor, but Thiago's a midfielder. He can't give the ball away in the centre of the park 3 times in the first half and a 3-2. There has to be balance there. So for me, I think it's 6.5. But again, though,
And the dodgy first touch, Conrad. Sorry,
because for me, I thought the midfield didn't keep control of the game very well. And if the midfield didn't have control, and we think Fabinho had a good game, then it has to be between Gini and Thiago. So for me, I think he was okay, decent enough. But what Darren says about it wasn't like the Leipzig game. For me, just very erratic at times, and that might be because he's not got the pace. But be smarter then. Stop diving into challenges. I get you want to win the ball, but see when you're a yellow card, you can't get away with that in England. Yeah. It's like teams are smarter. They're going to fall down.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck, Thiago.
But that's not a good thing. People are like to get stuck in. That's not a good thing. He's not being intelligent.
He probably would have got sent off, and that's not great. You know them ones there, someone of your ilk, come on, man.
Don Goodman gets stuck in. I'm like, I don't want a Spanish tiki-taka midfielder to be my hard man in midfield. Just do what you're good at.
It wasn't a surprise that he was subbed either, was it, when he was on a yellow? No. So, but he looked surprised. See him on the sideline.
Look, James, maybe you're right, mate. Maybe because I know he pressed you for buying. I just think he's not used to the pace yet, so he just has to be a bit smarter. So see when he's on a.
I disagree. I think he's more on the pace than every other player in that team. And Jota, him and Jota.
A lot of challenges though.
Don't give a fuck.
No, but what I'm saying, mate, is like he's going to get sent off. Every game it looks like he's one referee.
No, I get he's reckless. No, Conroy, I hear what you're saying. He's reckless, but mate, I remember there was 5, maybe 6 games in a row where no one was showing any sort of mad pressing or any sort of fight. Or the only person who would show anything close was Robbo and Nat Phillips. But I thought Nat Phillips only done it because he was shitting, and that was him genuinely at his best. Do you get what I'm saying?
Just working hard.
Where is Robbo? Where is Robbo, bro? I just know he can do it it's water off a duck's back type of thing. I know that's just what he's used to. So
that's a fair point, James. See, the thing is, mate, it's not. I don't mean that. I just mean there's times where when he's booked and it's like he gets subbed and he's like, why is subbing me off? But it's like he's had a few close calls, and it's just I think sometimes it's like he's got that in him. He wants to try really hard to be part of it because he's a great player, and I think he'll come good. I get what you're saying, mate, because there's a challenge he had in the second half where he won the ball quite high up, and I didn't think it was a foul. They give a foul, so it's a balance. There might be people watching saying, James is actually spot on, and I'm like, Conroy, he has to be like that because at the end of the day,
listen, none of us are exactly right. We all have our own opinion, and we'll try and gel one together. It's just a bit erratic
sometimes, though. He's just at times in the games, it's
like, you're right. And sometimes
he don't make that foul.
He goes to ground too quick.
I would say that. In Germany, you might get away with that. I don't think you get away with that in England because defensive smart.
You see, he's being brought in, and I've said it before, no pre-season. We've seen how poor Fabinho was when he came in and he did pre-season. Robbo was implemented slowly into the team. So I think Thiago's come in as a serial winner. So we're all expecting him just to come in and be the player that he was, like with Bayern Munich, and touch on where he was at the Champions League final against PSG, but we just need to be patient with him, and he is growing in confidence slowly, and he's playing a lot of games now of late, and he's obviously come in where we've struggled at a bad time. No Henderson, no Fabinho in there, but 2 games now he's played with Fabinho. It's no coincidence. He has played better and looked livelier, and he's kept 2 clean sheets. But I do agree with a lot of the points you're saying as well, lads. But tonight 6.75 I go. Someone saying 6.5, someone saying 7.
I'd go with 7 personally.
Oh, is this
Big
Thiago?
Jersey boy there.
Yeah,
I was gonna shout out to Jersey boy, but are we on Thiago right now?
Thiago,
7. I'm gonna say a 7, and then for Gini I'm gonna say a 6.5. So dead quick, everyone for Gini.
6.5 Gini.
I'll agree with Gini. I was gonna say a lower rating for Thiago, but I was gonna say
that's fine. Say say whatever the fuck you want, man.
I feel like I'm a negative Nelly today, man.
It doesn't matter. Just say your thoughts. I'd be saying the same.
Nah, do you know what? I just feel like he's not playing to his strengths at this moment in time. I'm really glad he's playing on the pivot now. I feel like there's a lot. You know how when he did first come in, and I'm not talking about Chelsea Everton. I'm talking about just before we started to really take that dip in form. He was fizzing it into Firmino's feet. He'd literally shape his body to play it wide and then just bang into Firmino's feet, or into Mane, or into Salah's feet. And I'm not really. I don't know whether this is Klopp or whether this is him. So that's why I'm not going to put that directly on him. But I do feel like he's not really playing to his strengths, and he's doing too much industrial work. He needs to leave that to Fabinho. And let himself, be that graceful player. We bought him for the grace that he brings to the team. So for me, he gets a 6.33 recurring. Like, I just
6.33 recurring. What is this?
No, that's fair.
What is this?
Listen.
Yeah,
That's
Sorry,
fair.
man.
Listen, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels, innit, boys? But hey,
Good
hey,
debate,
it's
though,
one of
guys.
them-
Good debate.
No,
I
very
hear
good.
that.
Yeah. Listen, mate, that's why this is why I wanted to start doing this show after the game, because I know it's late and whatnot, but it's one of them things where I feel like it's good when you get like a group chat on it and everyone's talking, getting the views in. You can just come up with more of a conclusion. But shout out to Jersey Boy. Thank you very much for the
Jersey
super chat,
Boy.
my
Big him
mate.
up, man.
Big
Big
up
him
to the
for
mighty
real.
Redmonds, Darren, my man, Mighty Mons, Captain Saint, Conroy, my man, legends, keep it up. Thank you very much. That was it. That was actually a
I love
belter.
that. I love
A
that.
belter super chat as well. He gassed us all up there, boys. You know what I mean? He's
quality.
like Bruce Buffett. He
shout
Bruce
out,
Buffett all of us.
Shout out Ryan LFC's channel. Go and subscribe to that.
Yeah,
Shout
go
out to
subscribe,
Ryan LFC as well.
LFC.
The
Yeah.
main
Big.
man.
Very good.
So with the midfield out the way, we can talk about the front three as a collective, and then we'll all give our ratings, and then we can end the show there. Do you hear what I'm saying, boys? Because I know it's running a little bit late, but shout out to William Rigby, who says, "Hey James, would you ever do a highlights version of these longer videos for people who have not watched the full live stream? Love the channel, bro." Could be a shout, William. Could very much be a shout. Maybe a second channel with some clips, maybe. As for the watch along, I'm going to be doing highlights for that tomorrow. So if you want to stay on the channel for that, then you can check that out. For these streams, I'm not too sure the way I'm going to do it yet, but most definitely we'll have to look into it. But thank you very much for the super chat, my mate, and I'll look into planning my way around it. Boys, the front three, Mane, Salah, and Jota. For me, I enjoyed... Bloody hell, Jersey Boy, what are you trying to do, man? What are you trying to do, man? Do you know what I mean? Another one. See, this is why I'm shit. Because if you send me a super chat, I haven't got no bomb effects or nothing like that. I say thank you.
Just get the DJ Khaled one.
You got
Just get the DJ Khaled one.
Another one. Do you know what? I'm getting that up on my phone. And do you know what? I'm going to get that up on my phone. And if it gets me copyrighted, who gives a fuck? Jersey Boy sorted us.
Another one.
Another one.
one.
He deserves a sound effect. I'm not arsed. He deserves
Nah,
a sound
big up,
effect.
man.
Another one.
Big up
Big up
Jersey.
Jersey
What a
Boy,
man.
Ryan
What
LFC.
a
Oh,
Well
man.
mate,
done.
Jersey,
Legend.
you are...
Is that the ad? Is that the YouTube ad?
Nah.
Is that the YouTube ad?
Oh,
Another
Another
one.
one.
another one.
Another one.
Stop.
Go
Shout
play
out to
around that
Jersey Boy
house.
for another one.
Brilliant.
Another one.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
it up, lad.
Well,
Shout out to
Jersey Boy,
yourself, Jersey
legend.
Boy. Do you know what's mad as well? I actually didn't read the super chat until like I'd done all that. So I was thinking, oh yeah, he's just saying. I thought one of yous came up with that joke. Fair play. Do you know what I mean, lads? I'm just a dozy bastard, so it was one of them things. Oh, for fuck's sake, Jersey Boy, what are you doing, man? Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to do a show here. I appreciate it with my whole heart. I appreciate it with my whole heart, but he's doing a madness. He's doing a madness.
legend.
I don't even know if Jersey
Come on,
Boy...
Jersey Boy.
Jersey Boy, shout out to yourself,
I'm
brother.
at-
Didn't say I was finished, though. I mean, listen, that energy is hilarious.
Hey, shout
Shout
out,
out
man.
to
Big up that
Shout out
energy.
to-
You got the win.
Big up that energy, man. Big up
up
that
We got
energy,
the
man.
You know what I
victory
mean?
mug. We actually got the victory mug
This-
out here.
Trust
There
me.
is genuinely fucking, and you know what? Like, listen, regardless whether you can even just smash a like and a subscribe, even that means the fucking world.
Mate,
But
trust-
there's so many people on this YouTube community who are so invested in showing love and help to smaller YouTubers like myself, to the boys as well who are doing YouTube channels. Like, it means a lot, and people like, please, and Jersey Boy, know it goes a long, long way, and we appreciate it for real. So, nice one. And the same goes to people who are smashing a like, same goes for the people who are subscribing, same goes for the people who are just giving us a fucking chance. And we appreciate having you all here.
Guys,
Ahmed,
amazing.
you will be
Hello, my
touching
bro.
a million. You're gonna touch the big million. Trust me.
We'll pray for for
pray.
it one day.
If the
Hopefully
rate
all of us
Jersey's
will be.
going, it'll happen tomorrow. He's going to send them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
He keeps it-
No, yeah,
I don't
bloody
think
hell,
we'll
at
have
this
to
rate, you
pray.
never know.
It's only going up there.
It's only going
Nah,
up.
listen,
prayers.
for all of us,
Another one.
for all of us, it'll go much better. But nah, once more, shout out to Jersey Boy. Front three then, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. Now I'm messing. So Mane, Salah, and friggin' Jota.
Who cares anymore? Who cares? You just got 50 quid in 5 minutes. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Everyone gets a 10. Right, thank you for watching James Redmond TV.
James, back. Dirty boy, man.
Can we start with... Yeah, James, can we actually start with my boy El Diogo for a second? Can we start with him?
Yeah,
why not? Do you know what, Mons? As you've intercepted, take the floor, my brother. Take the floor.
Sorry, man. Like, I just think El Diogo today. That's what I'm gonna call him, El Diogo, because he, for me, I can't even. He didn't even have an amazing game. He didn't even have an amazing game. But do you know what he's doing? He's hitting the target. Do you know what he's doing? It's his movement. His movement and his decision making right now.
Preach it.
It's the It's like. Why can't him and Bobby just do the fusion dance? Why can't they just do the fusion dance? I don't understand. Do you know why can't? Because literally, I do criticize Diogo for, you know, his hold up play sometimes, and, you know, the stuff that Firmino does in that when he does drop deep that he doesn't do. But now I'm starting to think, does he need it? I don't think he does, because he's dangerous. I think he's like literally got a bit of Salah's dribbling, a bit of Mane's intensity. And he's got Bobby's like, you know, silkiness to him. He's got a bit of everything. But yeah, man, sorry. You man can go. I'm done.
Allow me to intercept, my brother. Allow me to intercept.
Go in. Go in.
Man like Jota steps on the pitch, goes up against his old side. Not only is it his old side, basically his national team as well. His national side. Basically the boys who he's grew up with. Basically, the boys who he grew up with when you're really, really deep in. When you talk about ruthlessness, when you talk about not giving a fuck, and when you talk about class, search them 3 words and put them together and you get a picture of Diogo Jota. Mate, I can't believe the impact he's had on this team. And I said it before, I don't think the goal was sublime. I don't think it was world class. And, you know, I thought he missed some very big chances against Leipzig. Well, I know that he did. It was poor. Should have done well better. That being said, you've got to praise him when he plays really well. And he has added a very different factor to this team and this squad. And I feel like now we can all unanimously agree, regardless if we disagree on ratings, is... all of us, even though some of us may have been happy with Jota and the signing in the summer, and some of us may have been sound with it, some of us may not as much, but now we all realise none of us expected the levels that Jota was really going to bring to this squad. He's now turned out arguably to be our best attacker. The only person who can compete is Salah with numbers, but best attacking wise, Jota, I think at the end of the season, even with them 3 months out, he's number 2 at the very least.
Yeah. Absolutely, and he's still not on stage.
Pressing was unbelievable. Oh my god!
No, he was. Like, sorry, I've got about. I'm just literally going to just give you these 3 and then Nick, do my thing.
Yeah, give us your ratings before you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro, Diego Jota, bad boy. Seriously, he's
Diego Jota.
Diego Jota.
He's on the crud.
That's getting tweeted.
Trust me, he's on. Like, he's on crud. The way he finds those pockets of space is incredible. And like you said, the goal wasn't absolutely amazing, but it was, do you know what I mean? He took it and he put some venom behind it. And like Mont said, it's just nice to see chances being absolutely finished with shots on goal. You know them way there? Like, absolutely.
them way there.
Like, it's just, bruv, boom. I would give him the highest of the 3. I'd give him a 7.5. Mane, it's just hard, man. It's just hard, bro, because his decision making is done out. But then his movement is even the movement and the pass to the goal. Like, it was just, I would be an idiot to say, oh, that's like, no, it was incredible. His goal again, like, he's perplexing me. Like, the way he's not going down when you're getting absolutely touched in the box. I'm like, brother, we would have been 1-0 up, then we would have been 2-0 at the end of the boom. It's a different game. It's like, come on, man. But at the same time, I'm like, his movement was really good, though. His movement today was actually really good. Like, I'm going to give him... I just wish he could just flip him finish, man. At least just come on, man. Decision making, man. I'll give him a 7. So, and then I give Salah the least. I think I'd give Salah a 6.5. Wasn't a bad game, but just didn't do it as much, to be fair. Yeah, man. My guys, listen. Love you, man. I gotta go.
Shout out to Nick. People, before he does go, people go subscribe to Saint LFC TV. Great channel, great content. Please go and show love. Nick, thank you, brother.
Smash that like button and make sure you lot are
mate.
subscribing to Mods, man. Cheers, brother.
Have a good one, brother. Of course.
Care, bro.
So we are then, boys. We'll round up now. We'll get the ratings out there dead fast. But first off, people are talking about Mane and whatnot. Even Lewis says here, Mane was my personal favourite today because he was very promising. It's just a final pass or shot. He was unlucky. We see it and talk him down because of our expectations. I feel like we do look at expectations, but for me, there's still an element of he's lost a yard of pace to an extent, and I feel like we saw that today. And just a rest for me is what Mane needs more than anything. That being said, for me, fine margins. I thought he was the best of the front three. I didn't think everyone was phenomenal, but for me, he slightly outperformed Jota, because even Jota was okay. I didn't think he was world class. I thought he was sound.
No, but I think Jota's movement is what makes it different, and that's what Mont said. I know Mont's hasn't been on the last, but see the last LFC talk show, it's like you genuinely just, that's what I've been saying, mate. Like, it's not even about, I think Jota is a decent he's a good finisher, but not right now. I think he's rusted now. But I think his movement is key. His movement, and it's like a number 10 pocket he picks up. It's brilliant. Like, his intelligence is his best thing. And I'll be honest, before he signed, I didn't know that. And that's we can admit that, and we've been impressed by him. Problem with Mane is, see tonight, I hate when people say, "Oh, he's working really hard." That's not quality. I'm not saying tonight, but like in other times he's done that. Tonight he looked up for it. Like from the very start, he was good. But the problem is he'll do something great, like I said earlier, and then he'll do something that could cost the team. Like, but see, when he loses it in the corner in the 95th minute, we nearly concede because of that. And it's like he seems to not be thinking about what's around him, and it's like his decision making's always not been great. But right now, you're that's getting highlighted all the time. I would agree with you, James. I would say Mane was probably the most influential. But I would say Jota wasn't great, but his movement is just... See, the first minute, there's a ball over the top, right, and Jota gets it, and his first touch is to flick it on and run it. He's just a confident player. He's technically not amazing, but he's just confident, and he knows how to play his game. He's confident in his ability. And I feel like Mane's the opposite right now. He's confused in his ability, because he'll do that goal, and then he'll try to take a touch from a ball down, and it'll go out, and he just is like... He looks lost. So, for me... After thinking about it, mate, I think you're probably right. He was the most influential today, but he does need a rest, because he looks like his confidence is on the floor. He'll do something good, mate, then he looks like he's running in slippers, trying to beat a person. What is happening?
Like, when he ran round the goalkeeper, I'm thinking to myself, like, if that's you last year, that's a motherfucking goal, and there's no other doubt about it.
Just chip it over the keeper straight away. You know, that's what you do, or you hit with your left foot. It's just... Tonight he was influential, though. I'll give him his due. In other games, Monts has obviously been quite a critic as well, Mane. He has had games where he's just been...
And still abysmal. Rightly so, because he's still not perfect.
He wasn't abysmal. I do think he had more influential game, but he can't keep doing something good and bad, because you're not going to get as many opportunities, because there'll be teams who are just going to press you all the time. So I agree with James, mate. After thinking about it and watching the game, I do agree with you. I thought he was the most influential today, but he didn't have a great game, so it's weird.
I agree with you, Conway, and I think Jota again was a model to score tonight. It's his 11th goal. He's only had 22 appearances so far. He's had 3 months off. He's not up to speed. And like Mon said, he's a bit of Bobby in him, a bit of Mo, a bit of Mane, all of them. He's been very effective since he's come into the team. So hopefully it's going to be a good end to the season for him as well, and he keeps getting the goals. Like 42nd minute,
He'll get better.
42nd minute, Conway, I thought, right, we're going in here 0-0. Some positives out of the first half, but again, we need a goal. And it wasn't another copy and paste with the front three. He's added something different, so it was great to see him score. And he got a goal out of nothing, really, because he just takes it down. You don't expect much, so it's great. He was clinical, and he will get better, as you said, So big up to him, and hopefully it does continue.
I think his ceiling's ridiculous, guys. Sorry, Mont. I think people underestimate how good Jota could become, because I think he's smart and he's got the ability, and not all wingers like that have the football intelligence. Yeah. I think it's scary how good he could become, and I might be proved wrong, but I think he could be huge.
I agree.
Yeah. Jota, like, it's the ability. Sorry, Mons. Like, it's the ability that you see, bro. It's the ability that you see. And by the way, Mons, that is literally all I wanted to say. So you go for it, my brother.
I was going to say, like, before I go on to what I was going to say about Mane, off the back of last season, what winger do you say, oh yeah, they'll put pressure on them front three? We was looking at Werner in the form of his life saying, yeah, we want him, but where is he going to play?
Yeah.
People are saying, "Oh, I want Mbappe." Yeah, Mbappe's this wonder kid. He's one of the world's best players, but is he going to get better numbers than Salah? Like, there's question marks for everyone to even try and touch the front three off the back of last season. So for him to come in and go, yeah, I'm gonna.
And bear in mind, he weren't even starting for Wolves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wolves, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna put my foot on Anfield grass. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come and do that. And I don't think there's many midfielders on the any wingers on the planet. I'm gonna say wingers. Let's say forward players. There's not enough forward players on the planet that I don't could do that to our front three, to just come in and just bring a different dimension and be so fresh and positive and, you know, not think, oh damn, I'm not gonna start and just feel sorry for yourself.
He's very smart.
Very intelligent. He's got it up here, man.
He works at shooting. He works at his finishing. I can guarantee you, he takes 300 shots during the week. Maybe not against Leipzig, but for me,
it was the outside of the foot chip when he scored that chip in the Champions League.
But see, for me, I think, Mont, I said in another stream, I think Jota's looked at that front three and went, they're getting lots of chances in that team, and everyone's bigging him up, and so be it. Mane, Salah been amazing, but he's probably thinking, you know, I've got the ability. If I'm in a team, bear in mind the way Wolves play, they do create chances, but it's a different style. It's not as free flowing. And he's just that game against Atlanta, guys. That's a lesson in how to finish, right? And that's when he's in form. I still think he's a bit rusty right now, but he looks at a keeper and he says, "Oh, you're going. I'll just chip it over you because that's what strikers or finish." He's not a striker, but that's what finishers do. I don't think our front three have always done that. You see that sometimes it's maybe hit it hard in the corner, whereas Jota's different, guys. I think his ceiling's massive. I really do. I
agree. 100%. I 100% agree there. Diogo Jota for me is one of the better players. I think, do you know, like the role that Mane and Salah and Firmino have had over the years? Like, yes, Salah plays on the right, Mane plays on the left, and Firmino plays down the middle. But really, what they are is players who can play in different parts of that front three.
Versatile,
or if you're Firmino, like Firmino, we can play deeper. Like now, Diogo Jota, another versatile attacker to add to our system. I feel like he's the best ability-wise as an attacker. I feel like on the ball, Firmino could be more maybe technically gifted, but I think in terms of as an attacker and more of a killer instinct of getting goals and creating goals, Diogo Jota could be the best. And obviously numbers, Salah can't be denied, but I'm talking about on the ball as well as being able to get that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I know people are going to think like, I'm saying Jota's better than Salah.
No, I hear it.
Mate,
Diogo Jota.
Diogo Jota, great way to sum it up. Before we give our ratings and whatnot, shout out to Gangan Deep who says Mane frustrates me. Defensive, very good, but offensively driving forward, he looks a yard or two off the pace. Took too many touches and lost the ball. Yep, 100%. That's what I feel.
I didn't even get onto Mane actually. I mean,
go for it, bro.
I'll sum it up as quickly as I can, actually. He was better today. I agree with Hamed, actually. He was better today compared to how he's been in recent weeks. However, again, there was moments where I saw the old Mane today. There were little flashes, like, you know, he gave Moutinho the little foot waggle that he does. They even put the skill on FIFA, by the way. They put the skill on FIFA. That's how good Mane does that skill. You know, I haven't seen him do that in months. So it was good to see him, you know, whacking out the skills that he usually beats players with. If you actually look at the build-up to the goal, he actually plucked the ball out the air really, really well.
Yeah, it's brilliant,
Really, really, with a really, really nice touch and giving the ball to Salah. And what I will say about Salah, even though I think he was the worst out of the front three today, Salah, his decision-making, even though Salah, I think, I think the correct term is hid in this game today. He hid a little bit. His decision-making was still better than Mane's. Because Mane's decision-making, it was like when it came to, you know, going down for the penalty, didn't want to go down. He took the ball past three players. You know, he was running. It was a 4-on-3 situation, and he just ran into two defenders and then got tackled, and they break and nearly score. I was screaming when it happened because
fuming.
When would Mane ever do that? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
His decision making's never been good, though, Mons. This is just because he's out of form. You're seeing it worse. He's always
I think it's been better than this, though, man. I think his decision making's been average, but this is bad decision making.
Maybe, but I think it was a final third decision making where he's making decisions now when he's losing the ball in the middle of the park, and that's where it's like Firmino used to be a nightmare for that because he doesn't think. I'm not saying you think like a defender, but. I agree, mate. You're probably right. Summing up with his decision making's average. It's never been good, and now because he's off form, it's just going off a cliff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
He's second guesses
it's like
everything
we're
he does.
comparing with expectations type of thing.
Yeah.
I think it sums up tonight that Mane had more of the ball. He was better defensively.
He never shies away.
He was coming back, taking off Traore. He pressed a lot, where Salah didn't do a lot of that. But when he had the ball, he made better decisions. And I think that's probably some fault tonight.
Needs to shoot more. Mane needs to shoot more.
Yeah.
He's like he's a guy he's like got the Firmino syndrome. He's scared to have a shot. He gets in the position and then just panics. That worries me. That James said, we had a discussion last week about over the hill. I don't think he is, but that worries me. How can a winger who scores goals just suddenly be terrified to shoot? That scares me more than anything.
Yeah, it is a worry.
At least he doesn't shy away from. Do you know? At least at his worst, he can say probably for himself.
Doesn't hate.
I will get on the ball every time I can.
No, 100%.
Even if I'm doing really bad, because that's what I felt like he did today. He was always available. Like he was always in the game.
Spot on, but the problem is, mate, he beat 3 men and then he doesn't shoot, and then he holds on to the ball and loses opportunity.
And then doesn't play them.
Like, the easy part is just to shoot. I'm not saying you need to score, just have a ping. Like, and it's like there seems to be this
give it a go.
This game mentality now in front of goal. I don't know what it is.
Because of the assist, he gets a 7. He gets a 7. Just because.
I agree with James. I thought he was the most influential, even though he had a few moments of absolute bonkers. He was influential.
7.
Yeah, then, so to conclude it, the front three for me, Mane will get a... I'll give Mane a 7, I'll give Jota a 7, and I'll give Salah a 6.
Agreed.
Might even be being generous, to be fair, with Salah, but I'll say a 6.
Yeah. I agree.
I'd agree with that, actually.
I'd say Mane would get top if he just didn't have so many moments. He just...
All right, I'll say Mane 7.1. 7.1.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I think I think you're right. No, I think if he actually didn't have those moments, he probably would have 7.5 or 8. But because he done something great, then he done something bad.
That was it. It was one of them ones, but it was just better than what we've seen recently.
Definitely, mate. You definitely.
Yeah. Can we just big up Oxlade-Chamberlain because he was on votes?
Oh man,
can I just
brilliant when he come on?
He was on votes. Oh my gosh.
And he's usually been off the bench recently, so I was really impressed. I'm happy for him. I thought he done really well.
Yeah,
I still think he's done now.
He just looked terrific. I thought
he's still done.
Fair,
like we've still got to sell him in the summer.
But he looked electric.
No, but as a footballer, he's not done though. I think he'll got a good teammate. He'll get a good team, and I think he'll be a good signing. I'm telling you right now. Look at Lallana at Brighton. He's doing pretty well now, isn't he? So I know, and Ox is a bit younger as well, so I'm never being unjust.
He was integral
for this squad. He doesn't have much to offer, in my opinion.
But he was at one point though. I think unless we do go and get a goal scoring midfielder, no other of our midfielders can shoot. Really?
Nah, defo, but Oxlade-Chamberlain doesn't get on the pitch often enough. That's all it is.
And he used to be impactful, and because unfortunately the injuries, I think, as you said before, it takes him maybe 6-7 games to get that, where he used to be able to just come on and affect the game. But I think he's like, as a footballer, no chance. I think he's got loads left, but I just think he's had a great time, and in the summer he'll go, and we'll wish him well. It'll be great. But I got to say, I wanted that assist for him tonight so much because I thought he'd done really well when he came on.
Yeah. Definitely. Do you know that assist gave me? I think it might have been Newcastle away.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, faked the shot past to Salah, and Salah scored.
Like with Chamber, like we haven't had many midfielders to just run with the ball, and then just because he was very integral. I think remember he assisted a lot of Salah's goals in that season. Consecutively, each game he was assisting Salah. So I feel like, if he can just give us that again, maybe to the end of the season, and then we can say it's farewells. I personally don't want him to go, but
here's the thing. So if he does well between now and the end of the season, and we will wrap up by the way now, people, but with Oxlade-Chamberlain, if he does now between the end of the season, like he's either one going to save himself another season at the club, or two, we're going to be able to get more money for him in the summer.
So one or the other,
it's a win-win. If we can get him a few more minutes between now and the end of the season, depending he can stay fit.
I mean, we need him for the hip-hop quiz, for one. But, I mean, if you can't do that, then...
But also, you can't... to be fair, we're saying from an on-pitch point of view, sell Ox, but maybe behind the scenes, he's massively important to the morale of the team. And, even though you shouldn't be paying hundreds of grand a week for a personality trait, it's one of them things where if you are keeping the squad together in aspects and in certain times where it may be tough, you might need them influencers.
He looked hungry tonight, guys, though. He looked hungry when he came on. That's the first time I
He looked like he was playing for something.
Yeah,
he did.
Well, his attitude and desire to come back from the injury that he did says a lot, doesn't it? He just keeps fighting, and his attitude is spot on. So, as you said, tonight he come on, he did look hungry. He was ready.
Yeah, that might be one to watch, guys. It might be one to watch. I'm not. It's only one to watch. You never know.
That was so encouraging for me. I don't. It was just so encouraging because I've always warmed to Chamberlain
Why
because he's a centre midfielder with winger traits. I love those type of centre midfielders that have traits of a winger because I feel like they look at the game just a little bit differently rather than playing that ball.
He's very dynamic, isn't he?
Yeah, extremely dynamic, and it's just a shame.
I feel like his performance against Atletico Madrid gets forgotten about last year a lot. That he smashed that. He was brilliant in that game. But I would say it's crazy when you say 10-minute, 15 minutes was on. But I agree, mate. I was very impressed. I thought he looked, as you talk about, hunger came on. So I don't know, maybe he's been given a lifeline. Maybe he said, you've got now at the end of the season, and you know what? You might get another year. And why would you not? Why would you not want to get another year? So we'll see what happens. Watch the space, guys.
Watch this friggin' space now, people. That was a great show, boys. I'm sorry that it went 39 minutes longer than what we all thought. But listen, I always enjoy these chats with you. Of course, we couldn't do the LFC talk show, but we got to bring something similar as usual. The next episode of the LFC talk show will be on Friday, for people who are wondering. Every Monday and Friday, that's coming to you. Also, on Friday, there will be a footy roundup with my man Mons. He will be coming on that show because my brother, he started coming on the channel and whatnot. We were even going to do a show earlier, but things came into it and whatnot. But Mons was ready for that. So just know, people, please show support to Big Six Bands. Phenomenal YouTube channel.
Big Six.
Appreciate that for real.
Phenomenal YouTube channel. Show the support, show the love.
Get on Big Six. Get on Big Six.
Get on Big Six. Get on Big Six. Listen, mate, the banter is unbelievable and it's in the name for a reason. So shout out to yourself, Mons, for coming on. Darren, as always, it's a pleasure. Conroy, thank you, my mate.
Always, lads. Thanks,
Thank you for everyone who's joined us, of course, as well. These streams are much more fun with your input and your opinions. It just makes it much better. It makes it go a lot quicker. Today, I actually could have coped because we actually won a game of football. That being said, for tough times, it really does go a long way. So shout out to yourselves again, people. Shout out to everyone who showed support in any way, like super chatters and all that. And yeah, just have a marvellous night, day, wherever you may be. Have a good one, people.